great to have such a big turnout here for a very, very important conversation and topic as it relates to not only Hudson County, but all of North Jersey. And, you know, it's not easy to get so many different voices all on the same page here, and I think the importance of this conversation really speaks to it. We have federal leadership here, state leadership, and local leadership. Before I turn it over to our senior U.S. Senator to talk a little bit about the PATH proposal and the impact on transportation here in northern New Jersey, I do want to recognize many of the elected officials are here, and I'm going to quickly, briefly go through the entire list here. We have U.S. Senator Robert Menendez. We have U.S. Senator Cory Booker. Couldn't make it, but he obviously expressed his 100% support. We have Congressman Albio Series here. New Jersey Speaker Vinnie Prieto. State Senator Nicholas Sacco. State Senator Sandra Cunningham. State Senator Ronald Rice. Newark Mayor Baraka. Hoboken Mayor Dawn Zimmer. Harrison Mayor James Fife. Weehawken Mayor Richard Turner. Guttenberg Mayor Gerald Trashoff, and West New York Mayor Felix Roque, Kearney Mayor Al Santos, East Newark Mayor Joseph Smith, President of CWA Local 1037 Ken McNamara is here, Chairman of the New Jersey ATU is here, Ray Greaves, Director of New Jersey Working Families Alliance, highlighting the impact there is Analilia Mejia. We have Assemblyman Raj Mukherjee here, Assemblyman Carmelo Garcia here, our esteemed County Executive Tom DeGise is here. We have Freeholder O'Day, we have Freeholder Maldonado, Freeholder Romano, Freeholder-elect Balmier, Bayonne Mayor James Davis, Jersey City Councilman Daniel Rivera, Freeholder Balmier I mentioned, and of course Freeholder O'Day I mentioned as well. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to somebody on the federal level who also served on the local level and on the state level, who's been a true advocate for the importance of mass transportation to the entire region here. As you saw initially, him being a huge advocate for the expansion of the light rail and what it's done over here, and of course mass transportation in the way of the PATH system here. So I'm going to turn it over to our senior U.S. Senator Bob Menendez.
First of all, let me thank Mayor Fulop for his outspoken advocacy on this issue and for his leadership in bringing a broad coalition of federal, state, and local officials together to speak out against what I really believe is a travesty, if it is effectuated. So I appreciate the mayor's leadership, and I appreciate being with all my fellow elected officials here, speaking on behalf of millions of people in our state collectively. You know, the Port Authority seems to have gotten into a process it has a habit, I should say, of issuing reports and raising tolls when either citizens can't get to events or, in this case, in a weekend between Christmas and New Year's. That is far from the type of openness and transparency that is required of an agency, a bi-state agency, that has billions of dollars and thousands of lives in effect in its decisions. It's why I called for an audit in 2011 when they raised rates. In 2012, the Port Authority issued its own audit, and its audit is pretty damaging. It said, among other things, that the Port Authority needs a top-to-bottom overhaul of its management structure. Its review of its own audit company said a challenged and dysfunctional organization suffering from a lack of consistent leadership, a siloed underlying bureaucracy, poorly coordinated capital planning processes, insufficient cost controls, and a lack of transparent and effective oversight of the World Trade Center program that has obscured full awareness of billions of dollars in exposure to the Port Authority. Now, I still think we need an independent audit when I see the type of decisions being offered as solutions to this type of challenge. That was 2012. We are now in 2015. What's happened in the 2 years since their own audit was performed? Absolutely nothing. Now, more than anywhere else in the nation, our region depends on transit for our economic viability and the quality of life. To this end, we must have a Port Authority that is responsible and responsive to the people it serves. As long as the Port Authority is going to charge New Yorkers and New Jerseyans $14 to cross a bridge or a tunnel, then a viable transit alternative is absolutely essential. Now, this is especially true for the 390,000 path riders who every week take the path during the time frame from this 1 to 5 a.m. in the morning that is being proposed to being ended, and hundreds of thousands more if the weekend service that they're talking about diminishing also takes place. Now, we live in a 24/7 global economy. The global economy doesn't stop at 1 a.m. in the morning. There are thousands of people who work in that period of time. And denying them a mass transit opportunity to get to work is in essence denying them a job. And for all of these reasons, we join together. And I will say this, you know, the Port Authority continues to be unresponsive. I have a feeling that there is a view over there that there is a kingdom, or maybe two kingdoms, that they have, and that they don't have to respond to people. Well, the people who shell out the tolls every day are citizens of our two states. The people whose livelihood depends upon being able to get to work through a transit system like the PATH are voters and citizens of these two states. And so if we can't get the Port Authority to be responsive to this incredible collection of public officials all speaking with one voice, then maybe it's time to look at the federal compact that created the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and change that compact so it's more responsive to the people of New Jersey.
I'll echo what the senator said. But living in this area, knowing how important mass transit is, and to have people put out reports to cut the livelihood, basically, of the people that lived in this area. You know, as far as the Port Authority is concerned, we already had a Christmas gift from the Port Authority. They raised our toll to $14. And that's hard-earned money that people have to pay to get across. And this is not exactly a penny-pinching agency that we know of. So they are penny-pinching on the backs of the people who you work those late hours, who may be in the hotel industry that have to be in early, or maybe in the restaurant industry who have to be in early, and they have to use mass transit. So this agency, as far as I'm concerned, is out of control. I certainly agree with the senator that we need an independent audit, and we need more transparency from this agency. New Jersey always gets the short end of the stick when it comes to the Port Authority. And I am tired of it. I lived here, we worked very hard. All the people elected here worked very hard to get mass transit in this area because we know how important it is. And then you have this agency that spent billions of dollars trying to cut $10 million on the backs of hardworking people from New Jersey. I am not going to stand for it. I would fight with the senators. I would fight with our delegation in New Jersey to make sure that this doesn't happen. Thank you very much.
And the right thing is to make sure that mass transit is there, available for our residents when they need it. We tout mass transit as the way to move. As tolls have risen to $14, it's unacceptable services to be cut. When we did reforms at the state level and through two states to get reforms at the Port Authority, at no time did we talk about cutting services. Services are essential and vital to the economy of both states. As the city that never sleeps across the river, and also here in New Jersey, that time frame cannot be a gap that we do not have service. So we're going to do everything in our power. I have a conference call today with the chairman, John Degnan, that to talk to him about this. These suggestions on this report or these proposals are unacceptable, and we will do everything in our power to do the right thing. We need to make sure we do reform to the Port Authority that gives transparency and accountability to you, the residents of the state of New Jersey and New York, that are the ones that foot the bill and actually are paying these high tolls, and we need this mass transit to be there. So we will be fighting, we will be making sure that the right thing is done. So at the state level, working with our federal, our county, and our local, we look forward to making sure these services are here to stay.
It seems that we have a billion-dollar agency saying that they might be able to save $10 million, and doing it on the backs of the people of Hudson County. That's despicable. That is absolutely so out of control. Let's find a way to save a penny and hurt people. That's what they're doing. And they're aiming at the people who need transportation. We push public transportation. What sense is pushing it if we're going to take it away? They are out of control. And when they want to put it on our backs, at that point, it's important that we stay together to stop it. Thank you.
There's not very much that can be said. I agree with everything that has been said thus far, but it bears needing to say again. This is another example of people who have come together to come up with a financial plan that looks good on paper. But what looks good on paper from a financial perspective is not reality. The reality is the people in North Jersey need and deserve transportation. The impact on the quality of life of our residents will be devastating. That is the reality. It will be devastating. We cannot allow people to look at paper and to decide what is good for our residents when we know that our residents need path, and we need it the way we have always gotten. This transportation is absolutely imperative for people who need to go to work, for people who need to know they can go to work and they can come home safely. We absolutely cannot allow Port Authority to do this to the residents of North Jersey. Thank you.
Newark is impacted by this, an incredible deal. One, Newark is a 24-hour city, 24/7 city with the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, with 40,000 college students in our downtown area who use the PATH train to traverse back and forth from New York to Newark every single day. And we know college students have a 24/7 kind of lifestyle, and they use the PATH train to get to New York. And if they work, and the many Newarkers work in New York, and when they leave New York, they have to have the opportunity to come back home where they live at. We have bustling hotel industry, bustling downtown industry that is growing in our city constantly. And in order for us to have a 24/7 city, we need transportation that's also 24/7, that allows people to move back and forth from New York and other areas of New Jersey back to the city of Newark. It is imperative for us in terms of employment, it's imperative for us in terms of economic development and our recreation and nightlife in the city of Newark. It's important for us in terms of making Newark the kind of city we want it to be in the next century. So this is a bad move, not just for Newarkers, but for the entire region of the state of New Jersey. And we are excited about all of the support that we're getting here today, seeing that there are many people that are speaking up against this to make sure all of these people that are making decisions, they're making decisions on their own personal interests and not on behalf of Newarkers or any of the residents in North Jersey. So we are strongly opposed to them closing down the service at the PATH line. We need that. As a matter of fact, we should all get on the PATH train together and take the train back and forth to New York City to let them know that the service is necessary and needed here in the state of New Jersey. Thank you.
I concur with all that's been said. I've been in this business of elected official for 30-some years. I grew up in the city of Newark, been there since 1955, so I do understand the role of mass transit, particularly the PATH. I have a visitor from California at my house now who will probably be leaving tomorrow. People forget about the fact that it's not just those of us who live and work here, but there are those who visit here as well that help our commerce grow. And also happy to be here, and happy to be here because I just don't think that those of us who are elected officials in the positions we are from the federal to the local level, we don't come together enough. We spend too much time arguing and fighting each other, and people in New York pay attention to that, and they think they can do what they want to do. So I'm glad to be with United Front, particularly come from North Jersey with my speaker and my colleagues at the state level, Senator Cunningham, and all the mayors who are here, and our federal delegation. I hope we do more of this. Thank you very much.
It's unbelievable that we're here for this, but I want to thank Senator Menendez for being here, Congressman Sires, and all of our state and elected officials that are here. I won't repeat what everyone has said before, but let's face it, this is an absolutely terrible idea. It will damage our region and will cost us money. That's the bottom line. This will cost us money. So whatever savings the Port Authority says they might get, it's going to be an enormous cost to the state of New Jersey, and it will cost our taxpayers. I've heard that this is just one of many ideas, don't worry. You know, they didn't even talk to the two mayors that are most impacted by this. They didn't, four mayors who are most impacted by this. They didn't talk to us at all before they put this report out on a Saturday night after Christmas. The problem is that even having the idea out there, even the possibility of doing that, is damaging our economy. It's damaging the future of New Jersey. It puts us at a competitive disadvantage to New York City, where they've got 24/7 service that goes within their city. How could our governor consider this? How could the Port Authority consider this? So today, I am so proud to be here with everyone, to join together with everyone, to call on the Port Authority, to call on Governor Christie, to publicly state that the idea of reducing services has to be off the table. We want to hear it. We want to hear you say, we take this off the table. We will not reduce PATH service for New Jersey. Thank you very much.
You know, I was really preparing to come here to really amplify the workers' voice in this conversation, and I'm so proud of all the elected officials that are on this stage that I really don't need to do that and drive that home. I think that we understand that. But what I will say is that as outrageous as this proposal is, and as cynical as it was releasing it at the time that it was released, what is more appalling, I think, was the Port Authority's reaction to this story. And that people would simply, workers would simply find some other alternative. That is really tone deaf to what workers are facing in this state, in a state that still has not recovered all of its jobs since 2008. And that really is, to me, was the most outrageous thing, was their reaction to this, and to show that they really are tone deaf to what we as workers are facing in this state right now. The fact of the matter is that workers are taking this path during those hours, as the mayor says, not because they're out to party, they're out to serve those that are there to enjoy the restaurants. Those workers still have to get home. They're guarding our buildings, they're cleaning our offices. And many people are working that third shift because that's their second job. They're taking the path, and they need that service at that time because it is the most affordable thing. Perhaps another alternative doesn't get them home to their child in the morning that they're trying to prepare and get that child off to work. Perhaps the other alternative doesn't get them to their second or third job. But I really just wanted to say thank you to all the elected officials here for really understanding that and getting it in a way that the Port Authority doesn't. Thank you.
I want to first thank Mayor Fulop for inviting me here today, representing over 200,000 members of the Amalgamated Transit Union throughout New Jersey and the United States, and some of which are here with me today. I also want to recognize Congressman Alvio Series, who has been a dear friend to working families and transit, mass transit throughout New Jersey for all his years in office, and our Senator Bob Menendez. We have some team here in Hudson County, and I'm proud to be standing up here with these men and women. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here today and for recognizing the fact that mass transit matters and that the governors of New York and New Jersey have it wrong. The Amalgamated Transit Union agrees that this ill-advised plan to privatize and reduce PATH service is on the wrong track for New York and New Jersey. It's on the wrong track for workers, and it's on the wrong track for commuters. We won't allow Governor Christie and Governor Cuomo to slash the affordable means of mass transportation that will only add to the financial burdens of our already struggling middle class. Safe, reliable PATH and other forms of mass transit is good for our economy, it's good for our environment, and it creates jobs. We must now join in the fight to protect mass transit with elected officials such as Mayor Fulop here in Jersey City. The ATU applauds you, Mayor Fulop, and we'll be working by your side with thousands of other transit workers and commuters throughout the state of New Jersey until we all see the light at the end of Pat's tunnel. Thank you.
I am so proud to stand here with so many elected officials that I've had the pleasure to work with and for, because they are champions for New Jersey working families. Our organization fights to ensure ensure that New Jersey working families come first. When policy is being discussed, when ideas are being floated, this idea that, again, it's been said over and over again, that it's only a small number of people who are going to be impacted in a minimal way is absolutely incorrect. It's not surprising that our governor would take an action that actually runs counter to the interest of New Jerseyans. We've seen it before in his underfunding of schools, in his taking away rebates from homeowners, in any and every action that has actually put our state in a worse condition than he found it. Thank you, I agree. I think the important piece, I'm not going to reiterate everything that's been stated, is this idea that it's actually going to have a huge economic impact. Let's just suppose that of the 390,000 riders in the evenings during the week are coming to and from work, and they're making just a very conservative amount of money. Let's say they're making just barely above the minimum wage. You're talking about $400 million that these workers are generating, that they are going to have to figure out alternate ways to produce for themselves, for their families, and our communities. What kind of impact would that have on our economy? What kind of impact does it have to say we're going to cut transportation and make it harder for workers to come to and fro New York? When a governor is saying he needs to spend billions of dollars to entice companies that are making billions of dollars to come to our state, and then on the other side, he is making it harder for New Jerseyans to benefit from those jobs, he does not have the best interests of our state in mind. And so I am again proud to stand with elected officials who obviously do. We're going to continue to fight to ensure that it's not only about maintaining services, but ensuring that transparency, accountability, and that this Port Authority doesn't continue to be a slush fund piggy bank that certain elected officials can do whatever they feel like at the expense of New Jerseyans. Thank you again.
And I wanted to highlight a couple things, that it's important to keep in perspective how this started, and that's why it took many people by surprise to see the path included in this in any manner whatsoever. This started a year ago, looking for need for reform at the path regarding transparency and regarding potential corruption. That's really where it started. It had nothing to do with the cost of the path system. And when you see in the report that they're highlighting that they need to reform the path because it's losing money, is entirely disingenuous, because the path system is no different than any other train transit system in the country, that they tend to lose money, but they lead to investments, for economic investments, stimulus in the area, and the path is exactly the same. I want to highlight something that Anna Lilia said, which couldn't be more true. She highlighted the fact that it makes very little sense to be giving huge incentives, billions of dollars from Trenton, to attract residents and businesses to move across the river, while at the same time proposing to curtail or eliminate an asset which attracts businesses and residents to move here. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for the Port Authority itself to propose extending the path to Newark Airport so you'll have a single seat ride, $10 billion investment to extend the path system, while at the same time curtailing the service itself. It is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week international airport. When you think about what they're proposing here, it makes very, very little sense. And when you see up here the voices that are unified, from having a U.S. Senator up here championing public transportation here in Hudson County down to the local level, it really speaks volumes about the importance of this. And I don't think it could have been stated any more clearer from what our request is than what Mayor Zimmer said earlier. We want the chairman and the governor to clearly state that this is off the table. We can't be any more clear than that. This is not something to negotiate about. It is not something to propose and then retract and say that you've been a champion for public transportation. This is non-negotiable. This is something that is essential to all of northern New Jersey, and we want to be champions and stand for that.
Hard to think of something new to say at this point. I agree with everything that has been stated. I think I could state the obvious, though. This is a really dumb idea. We're standing here at the Grove Grove Street PATH station, and PATH is the Port Authority Trans-Hudson. This is Hudson, and on the other end of the tunnel is the city that never sleeps there. And I believe that the Port Authority needs to be reminded of what their core mission is and how important it is to the development on both sides of the river. You know, we heard about Hoboken in Jersey City. I was standing next to the mayor of Harrison, which right now is undergoing a renaissance of building all around the PATH station that is there. I think the most troubling thing for all of us right now is the unresponsiveness of the Port Authority. All of us at one time or another have had words come out of our mind and our mouth that upon further consideration you say, I wish I hadn't said that. And I think it's time for the Port Authority to admit to that. What they proposed was a bad idea, and they could end all of this right now just by saying it and saying that it is off the table. I appreciate the ability to talk here to you today.